trying to make this work, but and it keeps freezing up. But like the Doctor Who that has just been on. Probably what's happened is one of those patink has come and eaten all the energy and eaten all the internet, and that's probably why I'm having difficulty getting online. But hello, how is everyone? All the millions of people that are tuning in. It's me, Elise. Of course, you know that if you tuned in, because otherwise, why would you? If you don't know who I am, why would you? And if you do know who I am, why would you? Good point. Anyway, what did you? I don't know what that episode of Doctor Who was called. I'm saying the one with the name dropping and the Gremlins thingy because that's basically what it was. Now, it wasn't just a gremlin. It reminded me of something. That monster, that little monster. I don't know. It was just something about it. It was like, what's that like? Something. Not even a gremlin. I'm not even sure what it reminds me of. Something. But I'm talking to nobody now, so, I'm just talking to the air, talking to the ether. So, hello, everybody, all of you lovely people tuning in. I did a live video, not a live video, a premiere video on Wednesday, and nobody saw it because the premiere system doesn't work, apparently. So I thought, oh well, everybody will get notifications, so I'll probably get more views than ever. And then 3 days later, everyone's like, did you do a video? I didn't see that video, didn't know about the video. So hello person, who's this tuning in? How are you? Did you see my video last week? Nobody else did, so I'm not surprised if you didn't. Yes, so Doctor Who, it was fun, in a way, and in another way, hello Keris, and in another way maybe not so fun. But it was 2 people, hooray! It was an interesting one. Hello Midlands Go, evening, yes. So that one was interesting in that name dropping, as I said. Now the Doctor is very fond of name dropping, and so I'm going to take a leaf from her book and name drop Batoing. Now I can't remember what his name was. It was I want to say Atos, but that wasn't his name. Atka. What was the name of the guy? The square-jawed, handsome guy in Doctor Who. Astos. Thank you very much. Astos. Now, I knew I could rely on somebody. Astos. I know him. I actually know him because in 2008, me and Ollie, who's been in some of my videos, whose house I live in, whose house this is, we went to Edinburgh with a show. We did a show together called Mother's Fat Accident because we did one of those online name generators that they did to, like Childish Gambino did to get his rap name, Donald Glover. Well, we did that and we came up with Mother's Fat Accident. We went, yeah, that's a good name for a show. That's what we'll do. And so we went up with a show. We did a bit of stand-up and then we did a little bit with Vardaria, who you may have seen from their massive, they were our guests. They were our guests and they were great. Hello, Terry. So they did it anyway. So we did that show in a tiny, tiny little venue called the Phoenix. Was it called the Phoenix? Yes, it was called the Phoenix. Practically in Leith. It was at Broughton Road. It's Broughton Road. Anyway, it was at the bottom of that in a pub. At the same time, there had been a Guardian article about Pics of the Fringe, and one of the Pics of the Fringe was a show with 3 comedians in it, and one of the comedians was Astos, who's actually called Brett Goldstein, and he and the other 2 people were doing a show straight after us in that tiny, teeny little venue that nobody came to see at all, and they were very frustrated because they'd already got a little bit of publicity, and they were like, yay, we've made it, Edinburgh Fringe, everybody's going to come to see us. And even if everybody had come to see them, there was probably only seats for about 10 people in that place. Anyway, Brett Goldstein was there and the other 2 people were there. Who was it? I can't remember. 2 other people. And he was very nice. And we talked to him a lot and he was nice. And he'd talk about his show and we'd see his show to give some support because nobody else was going to. They did get audience. But as I say, not a massive amount of audience, and it was cost. But anyway, he was really nice. And one time, his agent, because he actually writes books as well under a pseudonym, his agent came early and came to see my show And what had happened is nobody came to see my show. Nobody at all had come to see our show at all. But we decided to do the show anyway. And what we usually did was did a little bit of stand-up each and then had the guests, Vardaria, the guests. But we thought that time, we're just going to do Vardaria from the start. We just improvised a show. So we just started improvising with Vardaria. And then somebody came in and was like, wow, this is really good. For some reason. And it was Brett Goldstein's agent. So that's my terrible, terrible name-dropping thing about Astos. And he was good. And he's lovely. And I think he's a Facebook friend now. I forget, because people, I Facebook friend them and then they drop me and when they're famous usually, and I go, oh, my Facebook friend, la-di-da-di-da. And then I go, look, oh no, they've dropped me like a ton of bricks now that they're famous and I'm not famous, boo. But I think possibly Brett Goldstein still is a Facebook friend. But he's probably not, because he's famous now and he's been on Doctor Who. But then again, everybody I know has been on Doctor Who. Yay, boo sucks. Not boo sucks. Hooray, hooray, hooray. I'm happy for them. I am happy for them and I really like them because I can name drop and go, oh, Brett Goldstein, Astos. I know him. And he goes, I don't know you, because he's forgotten me already because he's big and important. But that's fine, because he's all handsome and stuff. And it was a bit of a shame. I'm not going to spoil what happened, but anyway, he was good. I'm not at all sure about the Gremlin creature, though. The Gremlin creature, not so sure about. But it was interesting. I tell you what, though, I think the people that are writing this series this time are really relying on Wikipedia a lot, because it's all silly, pating, silly, yes, the pating. I know what, but the Gremlin creatures, though, they basically were, aren't they? Relying a little bit on Wikipedia with facts and figures and, oh, this is an interesting fact. This is an interesting figure, and it was quite interesting in the first one. Oh, acetylene smells of garlic. Apparently, it doesn't smell of garlic. Only in a lab does it smell of garlic. Apparently, in the wild, it probably doesn't. And then last week, acetic acid smells of garlic. It's like, no, it doesn't. It smells of vinegar. It's vinegar. How does it smell of garlic? Why are you giving us these stupid... Hello, Tux the Penguin. Why are you doing... And then this week, avocado and history. And I was like, oh, well, they've obviously been watching my videos with the avocado and the fake history. And I'm like, yay, I'm going to pretend that's what's happened. Obviously, it wasn't the best episode in the world, but it had Brett Goldstein, who's very handsome, and square-jawed, and who was in, what's it called, Bob. Super Bob. And you've been a superhero. He's Super Bob. Go and see that. Go and seek it out. Super Bob was in it. And what was the fact? Avocado facts. So I'm going to pretend that that's a nod to me. Of course it isn't. I'm not delusional. I know that wasn't a nod to me. But avocados and history. Who knows? Or dares to dream. Anyway, so it was an episode. It certainly was. Now, I ran out of the room, so I didn't actually see what the next week's one is going to be. Did it make you want to jump off the... Yeah, well, it was clean and bright and shiny. And it had a tiny little thingy that made anti-matte. Did I spot an Easter egg? Did I spot the Easter egg? I don't think I did spot the Easter egg. I don't know. What was the Easter egg? Was it made of chocolate? No, I didn't spot the Easter egg at all. I'm sure there was one. There always is. And also, I'm sure there's going to be a run. It's sort of Chekhov's gun in that, you can't put a thing in a thing without it meaning something by Act 3. So, that gun. I put it on the table. Aha, no, I died from the gun. So there's been an awful lot of those, and hopefully they will pick up on them. And the doctor said, what did he say when the doctor was searching on the data file? I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't paying particular attention to the episode, really, especially when my friend Brett Goldstein wasn't in it anymore. Oh no, he was still in it. He was in it to the end. People that hadn't seen it, yes, he was It's very important. Silurian from Classic. Oh, did they, when they, oh, I wasn't paying attention. I would have seen it if I hadn't looked away. Probably. Yeah. So, yeah. Silurians. They did look a bit like the Silurians, really, though, didn't they? The Patings. The Patings looked a little bit like the Silurians. So they were probably from Raximacorius. Well, anyway, they were from there anyway. Probably, I don't know, probably the same person made them. Maybe, or maybe not. So how's everybody been this bright and cheerful week? And has anyone seen my video with the pumpkin, which was supposed to be out in Halloween and probably wasn't because nobody saw it? Has anybody seen it? Oh, yes. Well, yeah, that's the trouble. And you can't even put comments. You can't put pics in comments, can you, Karis? No. Pumpkin. Somebody's seen the pumpkin. Yay! Because a lot of people were like, what pumpkin? What are you talking about? Pumpkin? And I thought I posted like links to it and everything. And I was like, oh, not many people have seen my pumpkin. My lovely, beautiful pumpkin. And then everyone's like, what pumpkin? What are you talking about? Where? You haven't posted a video for weeks. So I'm probably not going to use the premiere thing again. Because one, I thought, oh, I can schedule it ahead of time. And I put it now. And then it won't come out until ages. And then that'll be great. And everybody will know about it. But it came out immediately. And then nobody saw it anyway. Grr, YouTube with your facilities and features that aren't quite ready to go yet. It was an amazingly huge pumpkin. It was the biggest pumpkin in the world. It was like James and the Giant Peach of the pumpkin world. There's all insects inside, having parties and dancing and singing. I have done a video about radishes. I have indeed done a video about radishes and avocados, which is why I'm like, that was definitely a nod to me. As if, not that I don't know people from Doctor Who, name dropping, being like the Doctor, but I'm pretty sure that they probably don't care. But anyway, yes, radishes, I have done radishes, and I've done pumpkins, I've done all sorts of things. There's no vegetables left to do. There probably is vegetables left to do. But I saw one, I was like, oh, what's that interesting vegetable the other day? And I went, lotus root. Oh, I've done lotus root. Oh, what's that interesting vegetable? There's a moolie. Oh, I've done a moolie. Coconut. I don't know. Why not do one about coconut? Because, I don't know. Shall I do a live coconut one? Yes. La, 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 la. Diddly, 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 diddly. That's not really the music, is it? A coconut for me. A lovely coconut. I probably won't do one about a coconut, but there is a coconut there. The coconut. Can't do it without the lipstick. It's impossible. The lipstick is an integral bit. It's a young coconut with a hole in it. It was a drinking coconut that somebody gave me. It's got, see, it says genuine coconut. Backwards so you can't tell it. Coconut. Yes. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to do a coconut one. Anyway, it's quite a scary coconut, isn't it? Oh. Ah! Makes me look like a monkey. Baloo. Who was it? The bear. The bear was pretending to be Whoopie-doo. Yeah. Lovely. What about dates? Dates. Exactly. The thing is, right, somebody picked me up on the pumpkin. Ah, that's not a vegetable, they went, that's a fruit. It's like, well, it's culinary, it's not an animal and it's not a mineral, therefore it's a vegetable. So I suppose anything that's not an animal or a mineral I can do and say that is my vegetable, that is a vegetable, it is a vegetable. So I suppose I could do loads more, all fruits and stuff, but people might go, Nesta, every single time, that's not a vegetable. that's not a vegetable. Well, it might be. It's probably not actually the saviour of the known universe, but I've said it is coconut. It saved every one of us. Didn't know, did it? Oh, it did though. I said it. And, you know, I did actually have a letter from a high school teacher once saying thank you for giving her all the interesting facts about these vegetables, and she's using them to teach her children history and vegetables. All the truth that I've taught. I did fake news before anybody else did fake news in the whole world. I'm the first. Of course you are, Elise. Anyway, so yes, vegetables. So I've got 5 whole people who have gone all quiet now that I've just fiddled about with a coconut for 5 minutes and talked about people I know. People I know. Go on, ask me a question. Who else do you know, Elise? Oh, I know so many people. I know that person. I know that person. That person's my bestest friend in the whole world. What person is that? Oh, whichever person you say. Knowing a tomato is a fruit. Yes, exactly. That's very, very clever. True. Although I'm sure that a fruit salad with a tomato in it would be amazing, because I'm very wise. Very wise indeed. Yes. Somebody said they couldn't see the chat for my video, and it looked very bizarre. They didn't know what was going on because I was responding to the chat and people saying things, and they didn't even know. Do I have any geocaching stories? Yes, I went geocaching a few times and I found some things. Wow. What's the most famousest person I've met? It depends on what you mean by famous. Do you mean on the television? Do you mean on the American television? I don't know. Who's the most famous person I've met? I'll go through a list of people and you tell me if they're famous. Michael Rosenbaum. I liked him, but he's not that famous. He was Lex Luthor. Rory McGrath. Not that famous, but he's quite funny. Tia Carrera. She's not massively famous, but she was very nice. She was a nice person. TV and film. I interviewed 2 people from Enterprise, and while I was interviewing them, it was Trip and Tucker. No, Trip Tucker, that's the same person. Malcolm and Trip. Anyway, while I was interviewing them, in the other room, Leonard Nimoy came in, and I was like, well, why didn't you ask me whether I could... I would have preferred... Not that Trip and Malcolm weren't great. Great value for money in that. I wasn't paying. I got paid for doing the job, whatever, but not specifically for that. But why didn't you offer me Leonard Nimoy? What the... I would have interviewed Leonard Nimoy. Dave Prowse, Darth Vader, yeah, and who else? Actually, right next to him, I think, was the guy that played the Wookiee. I can't remember his name. Rick Mail. Oh, I've never met Rick Mail. No. See, that's... What do you mean by famous? How famous? I know lots of people that have gone on to be more famous than me. So, everybody in the world, that would be. So, I don't know. Lots of people. Name dropping, see, I've called this name dropping, so I'm name dropping. That's what I'm doing. And none of these people are massively famous. Stephen Fry. Paul McGann. I've already said Paul McGann in his... I interviewed Colin Baker on the phone. Why do you want to be famous? Why not? I don't know. I don't want to be famous for no reason. I want to be famous for doing something. I want to do things that people will admire and fate. I don't want to just be like, oh, hooray, she's famous for getting her bits out. That would be ridiculous. I want to be famous because I've done something interesting and worthwhile. So basically, it's not so much the famous bit as the doing something interesting and worthwhile that people think is amazing and people think is a good thing to do. That's the most important thing. I wouldn't want to just be... See, I've always wanted this. Why haven't I found fame? Because I haven't done anything worthwhile and amazing. That's probably why. Were you on the telly box last year, Keris? Ooh, that's interesting. Yes. I don't know. Who do I know from Coronation Street? Oh, Craig Charles. He's in a room that I was in, and so was Danny John Jules. So they're quite famous. Did I meet them? Sort of. I suppose. Most famous person I've actually met. Oh, I don't know. People. Some people. I mean, I've met lots of people because I was a journalist. I used to interview people all the time. I don't know who. See, I don't know who's considered bigger than. Because people that I think are amazing and great. Other people don't know who they are. So it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. Very difficult to know. Because also people come and go. I suppose the most fun person that I've met was Tony Slattery. Because how I met Tony Slattery was I was interviewing him, and the person that was setting up the interview, the PR woman, I have not met Donald Trump, and nor would I want to. No offence to Donald Trump. Offence to Donald Trump. No, Tony Slattery was great because the PR woman went out of the room, and we were just like, "Whoa, I don't actually know what I'm supposed to be asking you, Tony Slattery." So we actually just improvised for about 40 minutes and had fun. And I've got the tape somewhere. And he was like, after a bit, this is so funny. We should make a show. You should sell this. We could have a show. We could sell it. And I'm like, yeah, Tony Slattery, this is fun. I never did. I just transcribed a bit that was relevant to the actual show that he was, because I can't remember what it was. It was something to do with motoring or something on like UK TV something. There used to be a lot of different UK TV. Anyway. He was fun and he was good. He was lovely and people. But not everyone will know who Tony Slattery was. Tony Slattery was very big in the very late 80s and the early 90s doing Whose Line Is It Anyway and all sorts of improvising things. He was in loads of things and I think he probably burnt himself out because he was in so much stuff. He was very famous indeed for a very short while. And then not so famous. I think he's made a comeback recently. I know that people I know I've done gigs with Tony Slattery. I've done a gig with John Hegley, performance poet, and I was like, I was so intimidated. I was like, yay, John Hegley, performance poet, you're great, you are. But I didn't say anything. I was just like, and he was talking to other people, and I was just like, I didn't say a thing to him because I was so intimidated. So he must have thought I was just being very rude indeed. But I was just, oh my God, it's John Hegley. Oh, he's great, John Hegley. So, yeah, I've met lots of people. And some of them are more famous than others. And I respect and admire some of the people that other people don't even know who they are. And that's how name dropping works. You both have to know who it is. Otherwise, you look like a complete tool. Hey, I met that person. What person's that? Oh, never mind. Whatever. Wasn't trying to impress you. They're just my best friend ever. It's just how can I mention my best friends? Otherwise, it's not my fault they're famous. Yeah. Yes, name dropping. It's a difficult thing. I used to think, well, I know all these big deal people. Of course, I'm just gonna. I can't help but drop their names, but nobody knows who they are. Nobody ever knows who they are. And I would like to do, the reason I'm not famous is because I'm not famous. And that's how that works. I'm not famous because I've not done anything worth being famous for. But even if I had, really, the way that it works is you can do something amazing and brilliant. But if nobody knows about it, you don't get the press. And even still now, even though the conventional press is really a dead dog in most cases, it's still very much responsible for who you know about and who you think is worth knowing about. You can think somebody's, hey, the best ever, but you think, they're obscure. You think they're great. Nobody else knows about them because they don't get talked about, and that's very sad, really. And it used to be that you got all like on the panel game shows, you get all sorts of writers and artists and all sorts being funny and having a laugh together all on. Now you just get the same 2 or 3 people, and you don't really see any of the people that would have been well known for doing really amazing things in the past, and are just going to be on there doing silly things just to let you know that they're there. Fame is a funny, fickle thing, and it comes and it goes. It sucks all the energy out of you like the patang. That's how it works, and then it goes off into space, away, never to be seen again, full of all the energy it sucked out of you. It's energy vampire is something like that anyway. I don't know. I thought I'd better just sort of drag it all into something at the end, just so that you think that I've got some sort of purpose here. Everyone's gone very quiet. It's just me rambling about nonsense. That's always what it is, really. Yes. Anyway, if you have not yet seen my pumpkin, my amazing pumpkin, biggest pumpkin in the world, go and see my pumpkin. Yeah. Oh, and tell everyone about my pumpkin, and then I'll be very famous. I'm pretty sure I had 2 likes, and somebody must have taken their like away and turned it into a dislike. Ooh, that's because I was going on about stupid stuff, and I always do. Is everyone still there? Can you hear me, Mother? Because I've driven you away with my whinging and whining and being weird. Anyway, maybe turnips are not tiny and giraffes. Oh, I found out something interesting about giraffes today. Did you know that giraffes used to be called camelions because people thought that cameleopards, that's right, cameleopards, because the people thought that they were a mixture of camels and leopards, and then they got mistranslated somewhere, and people thought that they were tiny lizards, and they got confused between tiny lizards and giraffes because they'd never seen tiny lizards and giraffes. And then that's how chameleons came to be. Chameleons exist because people got confused between little tiny lizards and giraffes that they'd never seen. Now, the reason I went looking for this is my flatmate tried to convince me that swans and rhinoceroses were the same thing. They're not. But what he originally said was that people didn't know the difference between camels and elephants. And I was like, is that true? And it's apparently true, because the same word for camels and elephants. But yes, this episode was bad. This episode of me, or this episode of Doctor Who, this episode of Doctor Who wasn't the best in the world. But I knew somebody in it, so it was great. It was amazing. He was brilliant. He was amazing. And he's very handsome. So that makes up for it, does it? Yes. Bingo. He was handsome. Super Bob! So you have to take what you can from these things, don't you? And I'm sure next week's is going to be fantastically superb. But I did not see the trailer, so I don't know what it's about. So, Billy Piper. Poor Billy Piper. Not poor Billy Piper. She's doing very well for herself, I'm sure. Poor Rose. Stuck in a different universe with only a David Tennant to keep her company. Terrible life. Anyway, yes, I should audition for Doctor Who because everybody else I know has been in Doctor Who. But then what would I play? Why would they want me? They wouldn't. But, yeah. I should be in Doctor Who, yeah. Of course I should be. Seeing as every other person I know has been in Doctor Who. That's not so much name dropping as truth. Anyway, I'll leave it there. And thank you very much for joining me. Join me next week for more rambling and nonsense. You don't that. I don't that. Should have what? Would I don't what that? What? Anyway, I don't know what. Anyway, I'll go now then. On that bombshell. Bye.